Today I'm going to show you how to upgrade your cabinet and install the Sansi T8 grow lights. If you have this style cabinet, you're going to need 3 of the grow lights. You're also going to need the install hardware that it comes with. It comes with a couple different options, and I'll explain the differences later and which one we're going to use. And then some optional cable management, but 1 box is more than enough. The first step is to clear out the cabinet of the plants and the old lights, but we'll make that fast. There we go. We're ready to install. If you want your lights on the top, you are going to have to find some alternative hardware since there's nothing to latch onto. I opted for some double-sided Velcro, but you could also use heavy-duty magnets. Think about your cords as you place your lights. Since this one has the longest distance to travel, I tried to give it the shortest route, and I did use some cable management along the way. Originally, I was going to secure down my entire cord at this point, but then I realized it's better to do it shelf by shelf as you go because different shelves have different notches and gaps in different places, and it's easier to maneuver your cords as you go. The lights come with 2 different options for hardware. They come with zip ties, and then they come with these metal hooks. And these metal hooks are really good if you're going to be using bars, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use the zip ties. They're really easy to install. You just loop your zip tie through the metal hook, as shown. And then you're going to attach the metal hook to the little end clamps on your bar. And they have a couple different spots that you can click them to. And then you're just going to line it up with the slats in your shelf and you're going to feed it through. And this is the most fidgety part if you're doing it by yourself, but even then it's still not that complicated. Because my slats are wider spaced at one end, I did use a 3rd zip tie, but I got that from the top shelf where I didn't use any of the hardware that came with it, so this was fine. And there we go, 1 down, 1 to go. And if you're curious about the cable management, it's just 2 pieces that lock together and a sticky part that you put on the back, really simple. Originally, I placed some along this front side for this middle shelf, but later I ended up moving it to the back because I did have space back there and it was a much cleaner look. And then we're just going to repeat the process 1 more time, loop the zip ties through the clamps, attach them to your grow light, and then secure them to your shelves. And again, you're going to want to pay attention to which way you orient your lights based on which way you want to run your cord. Overall, it's a very easy install, and I like the zip ties versus the sticky tape that I used on the last ones because these zip ties aren't going to leave any residue if I want to move things around later. And for the light on the top, my cord didn't make it out the bottom, but that's because of how I chose to run my cables for my aesthetic preferences. It's going to be hidden by a plant, so I don't care. But that's the project. Super pretty, super clean, super easy, and a much better natural light versus the yellow ones that I used to have. I think my plants are gonna love growing here.